Hi, I'm Jan Larson and this is Thimbles for You. Today I'm talking about one of my chatelaines. This is a wild rose chatelaine. I'm from Iowa and my business and my studio are all out in the cornfields in Iowa. And the wild rose is our state flower and it grows in the fields and ditches here in Iowa. So it has a more vintage look than some of mine. Each of the pieces on the chatelaine are accessories or sewing tools, and I wanted to show you each one at a time. So the first one is a heart. It's a beeswax locket. It opens like a normal locket, but then it has beeswax inside. You just put your thumb on your thread and pull it all the way through there. And when you're finished, you close it up. You can refill this yourself by just putting a few chips of beeswax in there and setting it on a warmer for a few minutes till it melts in. This next piece is a really interesting one. It's called a Yubi nuki. In Japan, yubis are used for applique. And so this Yubi nuki comes off. It's hanging on a bobble, so that's a carved bone and then some gemstones. It's worn on the end of your finger so that your finger just barely comes through the end. And then all these little nooks and crannies throughout the whole piece can be used to push the needle, to capture and to push the needle. When you're finished using it, just drop the bobble through the Yubi nuki and rehang it. There we go. The next piece here is my scissors. I have a lot of different scissors and a lot of different sheaths. This is a small pair of scissors. They're actually embroidery shears. They're 3.5 inch. And then this is a solid sterling silver sheath for the scissors. These pieces are all made one at a time by hand, and the scissors are very usable while they're still attached. The chains go through the scissor handles, and you can use them and just leave them hanging for a while. When you're finished with the project or ready to get up and move, drop them back into their sheaths so they'll be safe for travel. This is a thimble cage, and this is a brand new wild rose thimble. It has a dome top. Oops, missed. The thimble cages open at the top with a lobster clasp holding the two parts together, and then it hinges at the bottom to allow the piece to come in and out. Again, these dome top thimbles are really nice to use for general sewing. They're great for quilting as well, but a lot of people use these for couture hand sewing. Thimble goes on top of the hinge. Latch the two pieces together at the top, and then there's another clasp that goes on to the chatelaine. The next piece is a needle keeper. The needle keepers are also all made one at a time by hand. There's a lid that's hand fashioned to fit on the tube, and it's chained together so that you won't lose your pieces. They're in all different sizes and all different decorations. Send me an email and tell me what you want, and I'll show you what I've got. This is a Tailor's thimble. The Tailor's thimbles are different than the Yubi nukis because the Tailors are tapered from bottom to top, whereas the Yubis are straight. So there's a big difference in how they fit. This is a really small one, so it's going to go on my ring finger instead of my normal quilting finger. But that's how they're supposed to fit, with just a touch of fingers sticking out the top and your nails probably showing on the outside. Again, this one is on the chatelaine with a little bobble. This one is a blown glass bobble with a little ladybug on it. And you reattach to the chatelaine with the 8mm spring ring at the top. And the last piece on this one is a 7x magnifying glass. It's actually made of glass. You can see through it. Nice for finding your knots and restringing and rehanging a few things. We've got a couple of other pieces that are associated with the Wild Rose collection that are not on this particular piece. This is a wrap thimble so that it's actually flexible. You can see that it's open on the one end and then wraps across the front. So a lot of us that have a swelling in our knuckles can use this one over and over. It can be opened up to a much larger size and bent to fit almost any finger. A lot of people, once they get it to fit just right, will send it back to me and have me solder that little flap shut so that it doesn't keep moving around, but it doesn't need to be soldered shut. It'll stay on just like that. And then another piece is the thread bobbin. if you've got a project that you're working on, you can hang this from the chatelaine as well. You can even just hang it from one piece of the chain and let it hang down like that. It does have a little hair rubber band to hold the end of the thread so it won't get away. And 2 chains if you want to hang it up double across there. So this is Jan Larson, and this is my Wild Rose Chatelaine, thimblesforyou.com.